Hi, and thank you for joining us today. I am Sam Parkman, CEO and founder of the Mallion Group. And my special guest today is Mr. Xavier Arnold, the author of the best real estate investing method ever. And he's here today to talk about his exciting book, also his vision, and his upcoming seminar. Thank you so very much today for visiting me, Mr. Arnold.
Thank you for having me, Sam. I wrote the best real estate investing method ever because it's needed. There is no really effective way to work with individuals to help them and to train them to grow wealth in real estate. We have an abundance of seminars and real estate gurus, but most of their methods are not effective. So the best real estate investing method ever is to share with people the method that we've developed to help them grow real wealth in the real world. And the book elaborates on that process.
I would definitely agree. I've had the luxury of reading the book, and it was a truly inspiring story. And what really inspired me is not really just about real estate. It's really about the human being, the struggles and the challenges that I think all of us have had. And obviously, it relates to real estate, but it's no different than the things that we go through every day. With that being said, tell us a little bit about your history and who you are and what brought you to this point to write that book.
Okay, great. And thanks, by the way, for your comments about the book. I actually was introduced to real estate at the tender age of 5 years old. And it's a chapter in the book called Church, Chocolate Ice Cream, and Real Estate. It's a bit humorous, but I was introduced to my grandmother, my father's mother, about when I was 5 years old. I had never met her before because my father and mother were separated and would eventually divorce. I was conscripted, so to speak, to go to my grandmother's house, whom I'd never been to. So one particular Sunday after church, and I was brought up in Mobile, Alabama, my mother told me I was going to visit my grandmother, okay, whom I never met. And the word visit seemed kind of ominous because it seemed like a long, long time. So I was a bit reluctant. And in the South back in those days, at our particular church, if you stayed through church, the kids got free ice cream, okay? So this particular Sunday, my mother said I didn't have time to get ice cream from the church, and I protested. I said, I've been a good boy, you know, I gotta get my ice cream. She said, no, you gotta go to your grandmother's. So she quickly drove me to my grandmother's house, and when we got there, my young cousin, who I didn't know was my cousin, ran out to greet us. And I later found out that he was essentially a ward of my grandmother. So we went into the house, and my grandmother was there in her white deaconess splendor, so to speak. And she motioned to me to come to her. And I reluctantly did, okay? And it was funny because she hugged me, and, you know, she was in a wheelchair, by the way. I recently had a stroke, and she wiped a tear from my eye. So as my mother proceeded to leave, my grandmother said, how would you like some ice cream? Okay, a big cone of chocolate ice cream. And I said, wow. So, and I didn't know she knew I liked chocolate ice cream, so evidently my mother had told her. So we quickly went down the street to the corner store. And the woman at the store was very, very friendly. She knew my name, she knew my dad's name, she knew my grandmother, and I've never met this woman. And it sort of made me feel kind of good. And she proceeded to give me this huge cone of chocolate ice cream. So it made up for the one I didn't get at church. And in leaving, I didn't have to pay her. And so I'm like, wow, I really love this place, you know? And as we were walking back to my grandmother's house, I told my cousin, you know, she didn't even ask for money. And my cousin said, dummy, that's because your grandmother owns the store, you know? Didn't even know. I didn't even know. So now it became, it was real to me how real estate, because my grandmother owned the store and several of the houses on that block. And so I understood what real estate could do as far as give you independence, because even though my grandmother was in a wheelchair, she remained independent for the rest of her life. She owned property that she rented, and she had a store. And at sort of an early age, I began to understand that real estate is not just about money. It's about fulfilling dreams. It's about having the ability to live independently, to do what you want to do and to gain respect by other people. And so it was important for me as I grew older because I wanted that.
Well, you know, that was one of my favorite chapters. There's several in the book, but that particular one kind of resonated with me, and I think it probably resonated with a lot of us. You know, as we've grown up and we've decided to start families, what's really important is that we leave a legacy for them. And your grandmother had the forethought and the vision to leave a legacy for you. And, you know, as I mentioned before, the book is not just truly about real estate, it's really about life. You know, there's some other chapters in the book, and one of the chapters in particular that I'd like for you to explain to my audience is, how did you come up with the method, the RSI method of real estate investing, and what inspired you to be able to take that information and that knowledge that you've gained over the years and put it in such a great book?
The book is largely tells about the real smart investing method in detail, and that's why I wrote the book itself. The title, The Best Real Estate Investing Method Ever, encompasses, one, how I began to develop the process and what the process, and two, what the process is. I understood from working with people in real estate investing and working with investors and becoming an investor myself, what was required to succeed in the business. And after actually attending a few seminars and seeing what was being taught and seeing how ineffective those methods were, and I talk about that in the book, that I had a challenge to develop something, to develop a method that really worked in the real world and that anybody could do. And so the Real Smart Investor method grew out of the process of me becoming an investor myself, working with successful real estate investors, and working with the professionals that work with these investors. Behind every successful real estate investor is a team. That's the first, one of the first things that people have to understand, that they can't invest in real estate solo by themselves. So the Real Smart Investor method actually tells people the 3 essentials that they must have to succeed. And some people think it's about money, think it's about credit, but those are not the prerequisites. To succeed, you need 3 things and only 3 things, okay? And I'll state what they are, and the book does this in detail. The first is you've got to have what we call the proper attitude. But attitude is more than simply saying I can or I will. Attitude involves planning, preparation, and execution. And that's really critical for new investors to understand. They cannot go out here willy-nilly and try to invest in real estate. It's not going to happen. The second essential is they've got to work with a team of licensed, experienced real estate investment professionals. You can't do real estate any other way. And if you look at people who are successful, from Donald Trump, he may not even find a property, but he has a team that works with him and helps him develop it, strategize around it, and make money with it. So you've got to have a team, no matter who you are. And the third thing is, and this is one of the most critical pieces of the Real Smart Investor method, and nobody's doing it, by the way, you've actually got to have a way to learn to invest by actually investing, okay? And that's really kind of critical. We developed a method of on-the-job training for real estate investors, and nobody else has it. We call it participation training.
With that being said, I want to thank you again, Mr. Arnold, for taking the time out today. If you'd like to find out more information, feel free to give me a call at 301-744-8299 or email me at followtheplan@comcast.net. It's truly been a pleasure, Mr. Arnold.
Great.
I will be there August 19th with the seminar. If you're serious about taking your real estate investing to the next level, join us. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, sir.
Become a real smart investor.